Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the TRI TK1, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank KeepHifi for sending over the TRI TK1 for review. Greatly appreciate it. KeepHifi, you rock. Alright, so the TRI TK1, this will set you back $70 from your bank account. It is a USB-C DAC amp dongle. The TRI TK1 has two or dual Sirius Logic 43131 DAC chips, is capable of doing 32-bit 384 and DSD 256. It has a DNR of 135 dB. SNR is 125 dB when using the 3.5 and 130 dB when using 4.4. Frequency response range 20 Hz to 20 kHz. It does have the ability to be used with a microphone, and it is compatible with iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows. The TRI TK1 comes in this artistic front, specs on the back. On the inside, you get a USB-C, a USB-A adapter, a user manual, and your device. Detachable cable. Let's talk about this cable a little bit. I do like this cable quite a bit. It is nice and short, lightweight, feels very well built. I was quite impressed by this cable, actually. Don't normally talk about cables too much when it comes to dongles, but this one really impressed me. I like the feel of it, the look of it. It just does it for me, I guess. Overall, very well built cable for a dongle. And you get a little bit of branding that says TRI on it. Then you get the TK1. So the TK1, also known as the third eye, is a very slim shape. It is not a true rectangle though. It does have a little bit of a hump here on the bottom side. On top you have your USB-C. On the bottom you have your 4.4 and 3.5. And then on one side, you have your volume rockers, up and down, play and pause, and answer phone calls. Top side, you have some branding and a little bit of information. Nothing on the back. Things of note, the top and the bottom, or the front and the back, are glass. They are fingerprint magnets. Also, they're not really well protected. So where the bezels are, it's not very lifted. And I do fear that this will get scratched up very easily or broken, depending on how hard you are at using your gear, how it is stored, banged around, that type of stuff. It could break easily. In the right light, you can see in and see the board a little bit. More on that though, if you take your device and you plug it into, say, a Hibi R5 Gen 2, plug it in, and then you take a pair of headphones, something like the Soft Ears RSV Mark IIs, and you plug it into it, it lights up. And now you can really see inside. Hard to see on camera, but you can see the board a little bit, which is a nice little touch. I like the look of that, and it's just a cool feature, something that you don't see in a lot of stuff. Some things have come out a little with a glass fronts on dongles, but it's not the most common. So it's a nice feature that they have, and it lights up and you can see it, which is kind of cool. Build wise, love the look of it, like the feel of it. It's not that heavy. It's well controlled. The cable doesn't twist and pull it, and it doesn't always flip it over to one side. Very well controlled. Only thing that I'm fearing is those glass panels. I wish that they were a little better protected. Maybe have a case for this, or bigger bezels, taller, something like that. The TRI TK1, or third eye, also has a couple other interesting choices that TRI has made. First, it doesn't have gain switches. There's no high and low gain. It's just there it is. Here's how much power you have, which oddly enough, I wasn't able to find listed. So I don't know the exact amount of power that the TRI TK1 has. And then the other interesting choice that was made is that the TRI TK1 third eye does not have filters. Now, filters and gain switches are things that are typically included in USB-C DAC amp dongles, especially in the $70 price point. So I did find it to be a little bit strange that they did not include that option, but does it really bother me? And as I was thinking about it and using the devices, I was kind of like, I don't change gains that often, and I don't really ever find the filters to be that big of a deal to be constantly changing them and adjusting them. So it's not that big of a deal to me, but it could be to someone else that's considering purchasing a dongle. So it's just kind of an interesting choice that for $70, they chose to not include a gain switch or filters. But it lights up, you can see inside it, and it's well built. All right, so power-wise, how does it do driving various IEMs and headphones? So the TRI TK1 third eye, as mentioned, I wasn't able to determine the actual output power of it, but through testing, I found that the TK1 drove all of my IEMs. Didn't matter how hard they were to drive. I found that the TRI TK1 third eye had plenty of power, even for those more pesky planar IEMs. Did fantastic, especially on the balanced output. Had no issue whatsoever driving anything, no distortions, no hissing, no popping, nothing of that sort. It did a fantastic job. Headphone wise was where it became a little bit more of a struggle bus. I found that the TRI TK1 worked with some of the lower, easier to drive type of headphones. But when it came to somewhat mediocre to medium to the hard to drive headphones, the TK1 could kind of do it, but you could definitely tell that those headphones needed more to kind of sound to their full potential. So it's doable with headphones, but I would say the TK1 is more focused on IEMs and driving them to their best capabilities. But when it comes to headphones, not so much. They'll do it in a pinch, but I definitely would use this with IEMs. The TRI TK1 third eye, how does it sound? So dual Sirius Logic 43131 DAC chips. I find that the TRI TK1 has a very nice, cohesive, balanced presentation that is neutral and natural and has an analytical lean to it. The bass has good power, nice authority, and there's enough body and fullness and a little bit of impact, punch and slam, and good texture there to keep it going on the fun side, but yet it's also more focused on the details, more focused on the resolution, more focused on the tone and timbre. The TK1 has a tendency to be more on the neutral, analytical, natural presentation versus the fun side. And I really enjoy that, and I really appreciate that. That is my preference when it comes to sound signature. And so the bass has just enough of the fun side and all about those details and resolution and good texture and very good details and resolution. Kept me happy. And if you like a full, impactful sound signature with details and resolution, the TK1 does bass very well in that regard. If you're looking more for a fun, thumpy, warm, big-bodied, full impact, pound your head type of bass, TK1 may not drive quite as much as you're looking for. The mids have a nice fullness about them, a good note weight, nice body, and they have a a very nice natural tonality when it comes to instruments and vocalists. Everything sounds accurate and lifelike. You get this ability to be able to tell the differences of instruments, even if they're in the same family. Brass instruments, you can tell the differences between trombones and trumpets and French horns and all kinds of other instruments that are in the brass family. And then when you get into woodwinds, you can tell differences between clarinets and saxophones. And when you get into strings, you can tell differences there. And it's very easy to follow it through the track. And it sounds very natural and accurate. You can easily determine what something is. Very good tone and timbre. And then I found that also the details and resolution is there, just like it is with the bass. And it's all very, very cohesive and balanced and plays very well together. Nothing is fighting for it. So it's spotlight. It's all very cohesive. And it also is very balanced and even with the bass. Going into the treble, same thing. Balanced, even, very cohesive sounding. Extends nicely. There's good air, crispness, bitiness to the sound without being fatiguing, without being too forthright. And just like the bass and the mids, the tonality is very natural and accurate. And it has a nice presence in regards to being airy, but yet not super lightweight. There's enough note weight there. And I find that the treble is very well controlled, while yet at the same time not sounding dull and boring sounding. Then you get into the soundstage. I find that the soundstage of the TRI TK1 does a very good job of showing you small, medium, large, and even getting a little bit on the grand side. It does a good job of portraying differences in venues without sounding artificial. It's not always trying to force things to sound too wide or too small. It does a really good job of allowing the music to come out no matter which way, the venue is set up, small, medium, large, or grand. And then it also does a really good job with depth. You can look into a stage very nicely and dissect things from beyond, and inward, several rows. Also, layering is very good. Everything has its own little place. And also, I find that it does a good job with its imaging from side to side. It tracks things very well. It's very pinpoint accurate. You can place it and follow it along, track it from side to side as it exits and comes in. Detail retrieval is also really good. I was rather impressed that for $70, I wasn't missing anything. Everything was there that I always hear. There were moments of, I don't think I normally hear that in this price point. And the resolution also is very good. It does a very good job of resolving and being refined, defined, and focused. Tone and timbre, as already mentioned, is also very natural and accurate. And I find that the TRI TK1 Third Eye is very pleasurable to listen to while also being analytical. I'm getting a very nice, natural, and warm, but yet full-bodied, pleasurable experience, along with giving me details and being analytical and resolving and being able to nitpick things without having ice picks in my ears or being so warm and cozy that I'm feeling a little stuffy. It does a good job of balancing everything out and making everything just sound natural, accurate, and neutral. The TRI TK1 has a couple of interesting choices. The lack of a gain switch, the lack of filters, but yet glass front, glass back, good power for IEMs, nice size, being able to be portable, looks cool. But yet, when you compare it to some of its siblings, or not siblings, but competition, is it really worth the money? $70, you're giving up filters, gain switches, and a few other features that some of them include maybe a little bit more power, different designs, that type of thing. And as I was thinking about it, I'm a very simple person. I like to be able to just plug and play, listen to my music, and I really don't rarely ever use filters, change gains unless it's absolutely necessary. So for me, the TRI TK1 works because it sounds so good, and it's leaning towards my preference of sound signatures, natural, neutral. And for $70, I could be okay with it. I could also be okay with a few more extra features. But is there another dongle that I'd be reaching for in this price point? Maybe. But for now, the TRI TK1 Third Eye is going to be one of my reference USB-C DAC amp dongles. I like this much. I like it a lot. And I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for that simple plug and play, neutral, natural, analytical presentation. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact channel, follow channel, support channel. Speaking of supporting channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you very much for all that you give to the channel. It is much appreciated. Also for the one-time gifts, greatly appreciate those as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information regarding how you can support the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also down below, there's all kinds of other information, gear recommendations, music recommendations, gear rankings, all kinds of stuff. Lastly, don't forget to first check out those links, and then don't forget to be that. I messed it up. All right. Lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.